Welcome back, everybody. The world of acting is enormously large, and I'm an idiot, and you'll know why in just a moment. When I watched one of my favorite shows in the recent times on Amazon called Space Force, I discovered an actor for myself who kind of piqued my attention because I thought he was a really good actor. And he was Russian speaking, and I thought, wow, I've never heard of this guy before. I need to look him up. And I looked him up and realized that half the world already knows who he is, and I'm one of the few that actually doesn't. I mentioned him to my parents. I mentioned him to my family. Everybody said, "Are you kidding? Do you know who this is?" I said, "No, I have no idea." And that continued until I actually started doing my prep. So I wanted to welcome to the show somebody who's an actor, somebody who's a director, somebody who's a singer, and somebody who the world knows, aside from me and a few others, is Alex Sparrow. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you very much. That was actually an amazing speech about your life and my life. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to see you, and let's talk. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's do it. And it's interesting that out of all the people that I've interviewed, my parents are worried about this interview. They are most worried about me not saying something stupid. My family wanted to send me questions to ask of you, and I said, no, no, no. We're gonna run things the way that they normally run, and we'll take it from there. So for the people like myself who did not know about you, let's catch them up.
There's a lot of people who still doesn't know who I am.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And we'll change that hopefully with this interview. But
Yeah.
let's catch them up. Tell a little bit of where you came from and how the world came to know you.
Well, I'm from Russia. I'm from little city in Russia. I was born in little small town which called Tula, and I was a musician since I was 6. I was playing accordion, and like actually the all my house is like lots of instruments. I love music and I write music. I'm producing music, and I'm an actor. I was studying in Moscow Art Theater School. Then I moved to Los Angeles and started to study in like a couple of like acting classes here, acting
Mhm.
schools. And also what I've done a lot. I've been doing music since I was 6, as I said. And I won an X Factor show in Russia as a singer. Then I've done around 35 TV shows, movies, like a lot of stuff as an actor. I
Yeah.
was on Eurovision. I won dancing and ice skating with the stars in Russia. That was so fun because I broke my hand literally. There's a metal thing still in my hand because I broke, but I didn't stop. I won it, and I was on Eurovision in Europe, and I didn't win it, but that was a lot of fun anyway. uh,
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, I had, as a musician, as a director, actually, an actor, I wrote a script for music video for my own music video. I wrote a song, then I wrote a script for my music video. I directed it, and it became a viral hit on like so many countries. Still, like for example, like I'm having messages from like Indonesia almost every day, like, "We love you so much. We don't understand what are you talking at all, but we love you so much." And like this one song and one video, it's extremely funny. Honestly, it's extremely funny,
Yeah.
and it was one of my most successful director's job. And as a director, I did a short movies, lots of commercials, which I'm writing scripts. I like to, honestly, I like to write and direct. I
Mhm.
like to be on the other side of the camera, when you actually, when you can see everything, when you want to just change, you just actually playing every second with every actor, with a DP, you're playing with the light, you're like creating something what was not exist like half an hour ago. It's something new, is just, and now everybody can see it. It's just an amazing moment. I love it. So, and as an actor, yeah, I did a TV show which called Unreal in the
Mhm.
US. 2 seasons, and I was playing one of the most craziest. I get that, not the most. It's just the craziest character I've ever played so far. It was a ballet dancer, ballet superstar, who is drug addicted, alcoholic, totally like he's bisexual, crazy, unstable guy who's that was such a, for an actors, we're searching for that kind of character because this is so interesting. Can you imagine to play someone who is totally unpredictable? Like every second he's switching like Rubik's cube. Like he like next second he's like so funny. The next second he's already totally he's like craziest person I've ever played. And then the latest update on my career, it's Unreal. It's Space Force, starring by John Malkovich and Steve Carell.
All right, well, let's talk about all of those things. And just as a side note, I love the character that you're playing on Unreal because, again, at my level of acting, I had an opportunity to play a character. A director friend of mine called me, said, "Hey, we're shooting this weekend. I wrote a leading role for you. Do you want to do it?" I said, "Of course, absolutely." And the guy is a motivational spokesperson who is a sex addict, drug addict, walks around with a huge, and I'm going to say this is not a show for kids anyway, but I was walking around with a huge dildo in my pants because the guy is always erect. And he is a spokesperson for ED medication. The guy is just nuts. And I had the most fun I've ever had in any of my acting career. That's the most fun role to play because you can just forget about everything and have fun. It was great.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. That's such a that's the most crazy characters. They bring the most fun in your life. Yeah.
I love it.
That's true.
All right. Let's go to the Russian X Factor. You won it when you were 17 years old. And again, doing my prep, what stood out to me is what you said. Okay, hey, I won. I felt like my life is about to change. All these opportunities are going to come my way. And then the next morning, you had a realization. And that realization was the one that really kind of stood with me. Please share with our audience what that was.
Yeah, next morning was the realization of that actually there was no opportunities this second. There was nothing. It's just something just that it was already an opportunity. But what is going to happen? It's not like now people are going to run to you and say, "Oh my God, we want you." No, nobody wants you. Nobody actually interested in you.
Yeah.
Next thing, it's all like you dependent on you, what you really want, what you can do. And that actually next morning I started to, I guess from that morning I started to learn and to study so much. Like I've never was like I was doing my best just to understand everything about the profession, like about producing music, about writing music, because I was just a singer who can play piano and accordion. And since that moment, I started to learn everything, like everything I can, because nothing was ready. Like I wasn't ready, honestly. I wasn't ready, and I didn't want to be that guy who just just did something like like all those biggest stars, like they just appearing and you see, oh my God, such a big star, and next year you don't even remember the name of this person, and he or she, they were huge, and next year just what was his name? It was like that song or something. You remember this da, 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 and nobody can actually say who was it. So, and I didn't want to be that person. I just realized that I didn't even have a hit. I didn't even like no hit song, no nothing. Like 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 there was I was watching some comedy show, and there was a guy who called to his mom in the middle of the night, and it was so funny because he accidentally, not knowing, he ate some drugs. He didn't know that there was drugs in a little box or whatever. So and it was so funny because he called his mom in the middle of the night and he said, "Mama, I'm in a hotel in Hollywood and I did some drugs. I didn't know that it's drugs, and I think I'm about to die in this hotel. Like all, like all the big stars, I'm gonna die in the hotel because of the drugs in Hollywood." Uh, and she said, "Baby, don't worry." No, there was one word, like, "I'm gonna die young, famous, and because of drugs." And she said, "Son, don't worry. You're not famous. You're not gonna." So like, that was that was me. I was not famous. I was just afraid to uh, become famous. I would say become famous and become no one right away. I was just no one. I was just some guy who won a show like thousands of others already. So yeah.
That's very cool. Thank you for sharing that, because again, it's you think your life is going to change, and it's still very much up to you. Just because you did that one thing doesn't mean that it will.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, you continued singing, you continue entering competitions, you were working on it. As you mentioned, you won the dancing and skating with the stars. You mentioned the broken hand, which was bad enough, but you also damaged your knee, and
Oh yeah.
you still ended up winning. So to me, as again, I'm doing my research, I'm thinking, what makes you just say, hey, I don't care. This happened. I'm still focusing and I'm still going to finish and do it. What is it within you that says it doesn't matter? I'm going to go and do it.
Um, because it's life. You cannot predict something. And
Mhm.
when I was a kid, my father told me, "Son, if you started something, finish it, and you just gotta finish it. However, you just gotta go." Like, because I told my parents that I don't like accordion anymore. It's not fun. Can you imagine, like, all the kids there running around on the street playing football, and I'm sitting with accordion for hours in the
Yeah.
apartment, and I'm like, and I'm 6. Of course, no one is going to like it. Only if you, I don't know, like literally crazy. You're gonna like it more than running on a street with your friends.
Mhm.
And I was about to give up, and my father told me that if you started something, just finish it. Finish these 5 years, take your diploma that you're a professional musician. After that, you will have a because my parents, they were afraid. They said, like, you will know that you will have a хлеб. How you say it? Uh,
Bread.
you will have money for the piece of bread.
Yeah.
Some kind of sort of thing like this. You will have money for a piece of bread. And I was in a poor family, so it was an important thing, like, have money for a piece of bread. So, and they told me a really, really cool thing, which has also changed my life. They said, okay, if you're gonna be really good with accordion, playing accordion, if you're gonna win competitions, if we're gonna be proud of you as a musician, you can be really bad at school. Just make sure that no one is gonna call us from school and tell us that we should come and do something. Just, it's gonna be your business. I said, that's a deal. That's a deal. Since that moment, I started to play accordion really good. I was working, and I stopped study anything at school, like anything. You can ask me like something about second grade. Since second grade, I know nothing, like at all, like nothing, no math, nothing, like literally nothing. But I was really good with accordion, and I was
Yeah.
playing on every in school. There was like some evenings, some nights when like kids who are doing something in their life, they either dancing for teachers, either playing something, singing. So, and of course, every time there was like this kind of talent, not a show, but talent night, I would say. Of course, the teachers, they asked me like, Alexei, we want you to come and play accordion. No problem, no problema. And so they saw that I'm actually a talented guy who kind of found himself in music. So they didn't call my parents. They knew that I know nothing. Just I don't know anything. And they've been putting me next to some girls who's been studying really good, to give me an opportunity to just sit and just literally. They didn't tell me no, 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 you should do it yourself. No, they knew that I cannot. So I was just literally just writing everything what those girls they were writing. I was just writing, and like teachers they were like, good. Okay, so so they just I didn't have a chance, to learn anything, because they forgave me. Uh, they just, okay, this guy is talented. All right, just let's give him a chance.
That's
That was
that's really, really cool. I get it. Again, growing up in Ukraine, I get it. Our American audience who's watching it are probably, watching it with their mouths open right now. Things are a little different, but I'm happy that you grew up in an environment that gave you an opportunity to really focus on what you loved, and that's
yeah.
that main takeaway from there. Okay, let's continue diving in. So your fame in Russia continues to grow after these shows, right? You add
Mhm.
acting, you add stunts, which is crazy. I saw you jumping out of a 17-story, building. I still can't quite believe myself. Um, you you were the
and
Bachelor.
and and it's a stance in Russia. It's actually next level of danger, because, because like, we have a really funny joke about Russian stuntmen in Russia.
Okay.
It's like a director looking at the building. There's like fifth floor, and he just asking the stuntman, okay, can you jump from the fifth floor? I said, hell yeah, of course. He just looked at him like, okay, can you jump from the fifth floor 2 times? That's the end of the joke. Because like it's Russian stunts, like Russian stuntmen, they are the craziest ones, and they actually taught me lots of things. And this 17th floor, I just came there on the roof, and I asked those stuntmen's team. They said, okay, here's the belt
Yeah.
and a rope, and we don't have a secure cable or anything, just a belt and a rope. I said, are you sure? Are you positive that it's safe? They said, pretty much. I said, okay, hell yeah, let's do it. I'm like, all right, that's gonna be really fun. Every time I was scared in my life, every time. I guess because of adrenaline,
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun. I have no fear at all. This is good and bad at the same time. And the same thing I have before I go on a stage, and I know there's like some important performance, some TV. First, I'm really nervous, and closer I'm getting to the point that I have to go on a stage. It just I'm like, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. I'm like waiting for Christmas. I'm like, I want to go. There is something incredible is about to happen. Something, and so because of adrenaline, I'm like really the same. Like I jumped with a parachute from the airplane once in my life, because
Okay.
I didn't want to get into that sport at all. It's too dangerous, even for me. It's like I just want to do it once, jump, and it's just to know that I did it.
Yeah.
So and that was the same thing. We was in the airplane. It was a military airplane from Second World War. It was really old. You cannot believe it. On the wings, right, of those things in the airplane, it was a little sign: "Do not touch with your fingers," because you can just literally ruin the like the обшивку.
All right. So hang on a second. Please don't tell me the parachute itself was from the Second World War as well.
I don't know. I have no any idea. They said it's safe. I said, all right. So I put it on myself. And when I was in the airplane, what was really funny? I asked the guy who was an instructor, and I asked him, "Are you sure that we actually that no? Are you sure that it's safe?" He said, "Don't worry, I have a parachute. The only one thing I would be worried about is, are we going to take off or not?" That's the whole thing. After that, if we take off, you have a parachute. Don't worry, you can just jump in a second. So it was so funny, and he was hilarious. That guy, he scared the hell of the whole group, except me, because I was laughing every second. Possibly because of the adrenaline, and I'm like he's saying horrible things about what is about to happen to us if we're gonna end up, landing in water, how we're gonna die. He was actually explaining how we're gonna die if we land in the forest, how we're gonna die. If we land in water, how we're gonna die. And of course, in the end, he was explaining what he would advise to do to not die. But before, he was just, for half an hour telling them. And of course, people, they were just white. Like, just literally, they were just, are we going to do this? Half of them actually didn't. They decided that they're gonna just stay and watch how those who are gonna go there are going to die. They just said, no, it's not for us. And it was an old airport in, I don't even remember the city, some old city, old airport. This airplane, do not touch with your fingers. How? Okay, I'm still alive somehow.
Yeah. The guy must have been a guest writer on Deadpool 2 with all of their parachute scenes and everybody dying.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So you do that. You survive. You do the Bachelor. You were the Russia's Bachelor. You go to Eurovision. You've mentioned that, and then at some point you decide that, okay, I've had enough of Russia. I'm going to move to the United States. What prompted that move and going from the comfort and the security of home to halfway across the world?
Well, that was a tough decision because back then it was 2011 when I came to America for the first time in my life, and I didn't even speak English at all, not even any single word. I mean,
Okay.
zero. I could sing in English because I'm a musician, so I can just tell me this word and I will repeat it.
Yeah.
Only if it's word, it's not there's still some words when we're world when we're recording a song and there is a word world, that's it. We stuck for an hour because like those guys in the studio who just helped me to record, to pronounce every word. It was like last songs I was already recording alone, but in the beginning it was okay for an hour, just okay, world, and was perfect. No, they said no, not even close. World, and what are you doing with the mouth? And just did world. I'm like world. I couldn't. And that was so. I came to America because I've decided that, like, it's like you're never too young or too old to dream big. It's like I had an opportunity to actually do something more, to extend this limit, because there was no one from Russia came to America and made it here. No one. Of course there were some actors who did some roles and characters, and it always like like the whole country is so proud of each person who came to cross the ocean and did at least something there, prove that here we are.
Yeah.
We can. We just don't want to. We can. like all of us actually. And so I had an opportunity because I signed the music contract, and I came. And of course, there was just the beginning, and it was so. It was I felt that I already know everything. I thought that I'm great. I am amazing until I realized that yes, I'm great and I'm amazing, but especially this city, it's Hollywood for years, for decades. Like the most talented people, they were coming to this city, and they were trying to make it here. So actually, like there's thousands of people like myself, and they are so talented. They're all beautiful, handsome, talented. And there was a second realization that I have to start, and I'm starting from the very low point. I cannot even speak this language. And there was a really, really funny story, just to explain how far I was from, like, not even speaking, from understanding.
Okay.
You know, like in America, like in Europe, it's really normal to say, like, when you see somebody, like, hey, how are you? Like, how are you? How are you doing? Like, just it's a casual thing. In Russia, like barista, for example, in Starbucks, he's not gonna ever ask you, how are you? Because it's not his business, right? It's like, it's just different. And like, we're asking only if we know someone, like, oh, how are you? And we really care, because like we really know each other. In America, it doesn't matter, do you know this person or not? You're just kind of like, hey, how are you? Like, I didn't know that. Like, no one told me. So of
Yeah.
course, like, can you imagine, like, first day, like, how are you? Everybody's asking, and I'm like, and I want to be really polite. I don't know, I know nothing. And with my dictionary, like, with amount of words I know in English, explain how am I right now, it's almost impossible. It's just like, I stuck like for half an hour to explain how how am I feeling right now, like, and why am I here. And I was suspicious, because maybe they asking how are you doing, because they understand that I'm from another country and they really care. Plus, such nice people, they really care about me. So I have to. So, and like, the moment I understood that something is going wrong, I came to Starbucks, and there was a guy. I was praying to God. I was like, please, no one, please don't ask me, because like yesterday I spent almost half a day I was trying to explain to every and each person how I feel right now. That yesterday I came from Russia and flight was 11, 12 hours. I was very tired, and didn't sleep much. So I was trying to make some sentences, and it
Yeah.
was, and of course people, they were looking at me like, what is going on? They were like, what is going on with this guy? Like, he seemed very nice, but possibly like mental. Like, so in this barista, I was just standing in Starbucks, and I was just praying, please don't ask me. Just, I came there, I already knew what I want. It's vanilla latte. So I'm like, I'm coming there already with right amount of cash to not just, like, I'm waiting in line, and then I'm like, vanilla latte, and I'm trying to go in. Okay, how are you?
Again.
My mom, like, yesterday, all my trouble
Yeah.
seems so far away. And I started to, of course, like, explain that yesterday I arrived from Russia. I'm a musician. I'm famous in Russia. For some reason, like, there was like some things I could explain. And
Yeah.
of course, he was preparing my vanilla latte. And he was just like, preparing coffee and looking at me like some weird guy, really weird guy. And next day when I came back to the same Starbucks, he didn't ask me. He was not asking me anymore, because possibly he
They.
was like, yeah, yeah, I've made it. But of course, at some point I came to the music studio, and there was guys, I already knew them. I saw them. Alex, how are you, brother? How are you? How you been? I didn't even know what it means. How you've been? Been what? Like, for me, like, how you been? Bean? It's like, are they talking about beans or what? Like I didn't even know what it means. Like, and like, how are you? I've heard it like for a couple of days. I know what to answer. I'm going to tell them, how do I feel right now? So, and I asked them, guys, what is going on? Like, why everybody? Like, you know me, you can ask me like, how am I, right? But why those guys? They ask me everywhere. I was very suspicious about it, and they explained me, of course, that you should just say like, I'm fine, I'm good, fine. I said, are you sure? Because I want to be very polite. I want to show to the world that Russian people, they are very nice. It's not like in movies. They're like, if there is the Russian, it's like, okay, brother, you wanna know how I am right now, right? Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now how I feel. I feel pretty good. So, like, usually there's bad guys, right? And I want to show that we're nice most of the time.
Most of the
So,
time.
yeah, they explained me everything. Anyway,
But,
that was the story.
no, no, it's great. Again, I came in 1989, and we flew into New York, and then we got into a plane, got to Detroit, which was my first home. And my idea of the America was you have tall buildings, you have skyscrapers everywhere. Then we come to Detroit, we're driving, and there's no building above 3 stories. I'm thinking, where am I? In Russian, and for the Russian audience, I'm going to say what I was thinking. Я в деревню приехал. Which is, I'm going to some sort of a country, or I don't know where I am. This is not a city. This is not a town. This is not America. And then I realized that in downtown you have tall buildings. Everywhere else you really don't. So that was
Yeah,
my impression of the United States. So your first impression was just people asking you how you are. I think that's great.
yeah, everywhere. That was
Yeah.
it was so scary. Like because when you don't know this language at all, it's really
Right.
hard. It's really hard every time to try to find words. It's like literally to answer the simplest question, "How are you?" It takes a couple of minutes
Mhm.
of my life, and the person who was who was strong enough to ask me,
Yeah.
now okay, now handle this situation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, but like to really answer your question, I
Mhm.
came here because I'm a dreamer. Literally, I am a guy from poor family from small city, and I've made it in my country, and I knew that there was nothing, there was no such thing like impossible. Of course, like when I was telling in my hometown that I'm gonna go to Moscow and I'm gonna be star, I'm gonna be on TV, people they were laughing, obviously, because like, no, of course you will, of course, Alex, you will go, yeah, you will be superstar, yes, and of course I've made it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how, no one knows ever, but like, and then the same opportunity to come here to America and try to do it here, try to make it like worldwide. Of course, I'm like there was nothing, and there's nothing holding me actually, because yes, there was some sort of like, yes, of course, there was money, fame, and lots of opportunities, lots of movies, which I could do, these years. I could just grow and build kind of my
Yeah.
something there. But it's not what we're living for. I think we should live for our dreams, because otherwise it's just wasting of life. Life is such a magical thing. Anything can happen. Anything. Like that's why I'm like, literally, like when people are trying to like, yeah, it's impossible. No, it is. Maybe it's gonna take time. Maybe it's gonna take time. Maybe it's gonna be really hard. Maybe it's not gonna go the way you want it to go. But if you just have a dream, why not to try? So I decided to try.
Yeah. And you did, and you came here, and you had your music contract, you started recording the album, and then something happened.
Then something happened. Yes, then something happened when I didn't expect to happen in my life, because I'm a dreamer and I'm a stuntman, and and then suddenly car accident, and I had a stroke. during car accident that happened somehow because I have a open hole in my heart, and the blood goes in different directions sometimes, and there was a clot, and so half of my body was paralyzed, left side fully, even one of the vocal cords, it was paralyzed, and there is still a huge part of my brain, it's still dead on the right side, which people are saying actually that it's a creative half of your brain, it's right one.
Right, yeah,
Well,
right lobe.
I think it's pretty much, yeah, I was about to say bull, Chicago Bulls. But after when I woke up, of course, I woke up in a hospital, and I couldn't remember anything. I forgot English again at all, because when the doctor came and I realized that I'm in a hospital, which is really strange. I cannot feel ever my face for some reason, and I cannot move my hand, and I don't feel my left leg. I just something is wrong, and I want to drink, so they gave me something to drink, and I didn't know how to say even drink. Again, I forgot English at all. They are talking about something, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, okay, I remember. Okay, what? And something is not okay, definitely, because in hospital for some reason they gave me something to drink, and I remember this moment, I was drinking from a little bottle, and I'm drinking, and I realized that water is just falling out of my mouth, and I cannot swallow it, and I'm like, something is really wrong, and I cannot tell anything to these doctors because I don't remember how to speak English. Uh, so I was paralyzed. Half of my body was paralyzed, and of course, in the beginning, I'm gonna tell you that first, I don't know, 3, 5 days, I didn't even believe. I was thinking that it's kind of a dream. It's a dream. It must be a dream. It's a dream joke. It's a joke because it's just impossible. I am a stuntman. I'm, I've done so many crazy things in my life, and now I just don't. I cannot move my body. It's just funny. I started to laugh so much. I was like, they said, Alex, you should take it easy. Easy. I remember. Take. I don't remember what. I don't even understand what are you talking about right now. I cannot understand what a doctor's trying to explain me. So everything is so weird. It's just unreal. Just unreal. I'm like, no, it's unreal. It's definitely unreal. I'm just gonna fall asleep again right now. I'm gonna wake up and everything is gonna be great. And of course, I was waking up, and suddenly it came to me because the doctor showed me. They did an MRI, and he showed me my brain, and he realized that this part is damaged, possibly it's dead, he said, and it's a huge part. And he said, you had a stroke. I didn't know this word. He told me you had a stroke, and for me, okay, stroke, it sounds like strike. Strike, it's in bowling, right? In bowling, strike, it's something good. Something good happened. That's what I decided. Something good happened, something, but possibly just because of the brain strike brain, right? It means that, and also strike, it's maybe my brain make the stroke, so it doesn't want to work. Okay, I need to deal with my brain, right? Somehow. So after a couple of more days, I realized that actually it's a reality. I cannot eat normally. I cannot walk. I cannot speak. I didn't even try to sing yet. That was another moment in my life when I was trying to sing, and but I was still in a hospital. And when I realized actually what happened, uh, I stopped laughing at all, because I realized that possibly I'm never gonna be the same person what I was before.
Yeah.
And I wanted, because my life was beautiful. My life was full of everything. And it was just life of hope, life of dream. Like I was just going like, and I was living such a full life. And then suddenly I cannot move, and I'm in the bed and have my face like this. So in the doctors, when I started to realize that I'm starting to remember some of the words, and the doctors told me that, we cannot promise you that you actually going to be able to live like you were living before. Since that moment, I stopped listening to them at all. At all. They were, you should take it easy. I'm not going to take it easy. I was trying to stand up from the bed right away. I was trying to walk. They were saying, no, 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 you should be very careful. I said, I am not going to be very careful. Like, since that moment, I was trying to do everything only with my left hand. And it was literally not even moving. I was trying to, my answer was like when they were telling me something, no, 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 you should take it easy. You should be very careful. I was like, okay, I'm going to show you something right now. So I'm going to show you this finger. Wait a second. I was trying to I was literally making fun of them, even though I was, I started to literally fight because I didn't want them to tell me that I cannot do something. Like, no, 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 you cannot. I can. Just why you like, if you cannot tell me how to fix myself right now, I'm gonna find my way, because like it's only, in the end, it's only my decision. Can I do it or not? So I was forcing myself to eat because I couldn't swallow. So I was putting food in my mouth and I was just closing it with my hand until I will swallow the food, because muscles, they should remember, they should do it again. Somehow I didn't know, I was just doing everything. I was pushing myself every day harder and harder, and after 1 month I was already walking, I was already talking, and the doctors, they were just looking at me like when I came to a doctor, to another doctor after 1 month, and he looked at my MRI, and there was my brain with a huge piece, literally huge piece. There was like 30%.
Yeah.
And I came to his office, and he said, okay, where's the patient? Пациент, правильно? Patient.
Yeah.
Where's the patient? I said, here I am. He looked at he said, Alexei, exactly. Like, here I am. What would you? He said, it's impossible. No, 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 there's some kind of a mistake. We just haven't, I need to call to my office. He said, like, there's a wrong MRI. I have a patient. You probably you check the MRI test, blah, blah, blah. So he couldn't believe that after 1 month with such a huge damage of my brain, and there's it's said that I was like paralyzed, that half of body paralyzed, cannot speak, cannot eat, like anything. And suddenly I came, and of course I didn't feel anything with my left hand yet. I was just moving it, but I didn't feel anything. Like left leg, I was like muscles, they started to work already. I just didn't feel. Like the same thing with my face. I was already moving. I was every day working with all my left side. I was doing everything with my left hand, and I was forcing myself to do something. And my brain actually started to work so fast, like 2, 3 times, 5 times faster than it was working before. And I couldn't, possibly because I was just laying down. My brain started to we got to do something. Like every second, like I'm like just laying down, and then there was like my mind, like, let's do something, let's create something, write something, like let's write something. I'm like, it was constant dialogue with my mind. Sometimes I was switching to God. I was talking to God, questioning so many things because I was angry, so angry. I just didn't know what I did wrong,
Yeah.
it just I couldn't really understand what I did wrong, because I was living a healthy life. I was trying to uh, be a good person, help my parents, uh, be a good example for others. I just literally couldn't understand. It was, and that's why I was very, very angry. I was just every day this anger. It was just growing in me, and I was questioning this empty sky and looking there and just asking, like, why me? Until I actually understood after 1 month, and I was already strong enough to walk. I was they told me that we cannot help you anymore. You need to go home because like you doing really good. Like we cannot, like you don't need to be here at all. And I think I realized that it was me because I could handle it. Possibly if it would be somebody else, possibly they couldn't.
Yeah.
And it was me because I could fight it back. And after that, I became writer. Only after that, after my creative side of my brain was damaged, and I started to be 100% more creative than I was before. Not two, not five. I started to write scripts constantly. I started to be so creative. I started to direct my own music videos, commercials. I started to edit things because when I was not able to be an actor, I've learned how to film things by myself because I was learning on set, like why different lenses, on camera. So I started to use all the knowledge I had to just uh, stand on the other side of the camera because I could not act myself. I still had problems with my speech. I could talk, but I could, like in one sentence, the words they were sometimes going in like in wrong spots. Like I like for example, I would not say like I'm all right. I said, all right, I'm like for some reason like it was just it was not there yet, like a puzzle, and you put in the wrong pieces in the spot. It's kind of, but there you understand picture, but everything is like not. I was a different person, and I'm gonna say one thing about that I was trying to become the same person who I was before. And of course, every day I was understanding that I cannot. I cannot. And I'm trying as hard as I can. I'm trying to sing and I cannot because one of the vocal cords still not moving. It's just disconnected. And until again, I realized that I'm not going to be that person anymore. It's just impossible. But I'm going to try to become someone even better. And I remember I told my mom, because she came to America, and I told her that, do you think that if I will fight this and if I will win, if I will start to do all those things I was doing before, as good as I was doing it before, do you think that I'm going to be the greatest in the world? I just wanted to hear it, I guess, from her. She said yes. It's okay. And I was just basically every day I was just forcing myself again to just be better until I realized that I'm became a much better person, I guess. And I because of what I've been through, I just started to live this life even more full than it was before, because we never know. Honestly, seriously, we never know what is going to be tomorrow. So and if you cherish this day which you have right now, this moment, every piece of second, it's becoming such a full life, like with all the problems, because there is no such thing as a problem. It's just always an opportunity to change something, to do something else, do something different. No, it's not a problem. until you can do something, it's never a problem. So that was the point where I never became the same person again.
And you became something better, and you became something stronger. And in terms of you setting that example, the example that you were setting prior to the accident was one example. Right now, the example that you're setting with everything that you have done to come back from that is a million times better. And God, I don't wish what happened to you onto anybody, but you were
Thank you.
strong enough to handle it. And now people looking at it, I can tell you that again, as I was learning about you, and when I heard that, that changed so many things just for me personally. I'm driving differently. I'm not looking at my phone anymore because I have you in the back of my mind thinking, it happened to Alex. I'm going to put away my phone. I'm going to focus completely because who knows? Any moment something can change.
Yeah.
When I dealt with some health issues of my own, nothing remotely to what you were dealing with, and I was scared, and I didn't do anything about those issues because I was scared. And listening and seeing what happened to you and how you came back from it, screw being scared. I'm not scared. I'm going to go and do whatever needs to get done. I'm going to get it taken care of. So things started changing for me, and I didn't really even know you. It was just by listening and seeing what happened. Your example is already there, and
Thank
it's only
you. Thank you.
so. Thank you. And you recovered. You started singing again. We're going to get to your video, which is hilarious, in a second.
Thank you.
You started singing again. You got on screen. You know, your first role, and what the accident happened, just so people understand, the accident happened to you in 2013. In 2014, you already had a role on, it was a small role, and, you know, we could talk about the things that happened, but in 2014, you were already in Sin City.
Yeah.
And you continued working. You've done Russian movies. You know, I grew up watching Three Musketeers. That was my favorite thing. That's why I started fencing when I was a kid. You were in the Three Musketeers in the new version. So you
Yeah.
did these things. And 2018 was kind of that year that, you know, I sent you in a new direction. So two things happened, and I want to dive into both of those. You know, you've mentioned one. Actually, you mentioned both of them. Unreal. You got cast on Lifetime's Unreal with Appleby, with Constance Zimmer, with a bunch of others. I want to talk about that in a second. And you did your video, which I don't know. I stopped kind of looking at the numbers, but I think it's getting close to 1 billion views on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. On different platforms, yeah, it's just it's still growing for some reason. People are still coming back and watching it. Yeah.
I'm one of those because again, as I started doing the research, I didn't know anything, so I started looking around. I saw the video and I immediately recognized it. I'm like, I know this song from somewhere. I don't remember where, but I know this from somewhere. I saw the video. I made my whole family watch the video. My own family, my daughter, my son, my wife. They love it. And then I saw all of the follow-ups to the video. I saw all of your other videos. We're going to get into that in a so it's going to continue growing. I'll make sure of it just for my little end that I can. So
It's funny.
you got cast in Unreal. You've mentioned the character that you were playing. It was funny to watch because, again, you were the Bachelor, and now you're playing on kind of the opposite side of that equation.
Yeah.
Did the whole experience come back into play? How was it like to do something completely different?
It was really funny because just The Bachelor just literally almost it was like half a year ago, and then I was The Bachelor, and I had so many fights with producers during the show in Russia when I was The Bachelor. I had so many fights. Literally, since the first night, I started to ruin their show so badly because they were trying to play me, and like when I see that someone is trying to, like, oh, Alex, look at this girl. She's so nice, right? She had such a good story, like, and it's going to be so good for you. Like if you have, this dramatic story, like, yes, she's a lesbian, right? And you can, change her mind, and we will show her. Okay, yeah, it's such a great idea. I think, thank you so much. And they said, make sure that you will pick her. It's going to be so good for a show. I said, of course, of course. And then, of course, like, it's all life. You cannot change anything. When I'm getting the roses, like, I'm not picking that girl.
Yeah.
And the producers, I just feel it, with my back, that they are sitting next to the monitors. They don't understand what to do, because they had some kind of script already about what they're going to do with every and each girl. But I came there because I literally thought, my life is crazy enough.
Yeah.
It's crazy enough. Literally, maybe I'm literally gonna find the girl of my life there, because like what I know about life, that it's always given opportunity in crazy ways, sometimes like in really, really dumb way. And only after some time you can understand some things, like can explain for yourself. So of course I was not playing anything they were trying to push. I was pushing back even hard, and so we were fighting constantly till the very end. I was explaining right next to cameras. I was standing next to the girls, and I was telling them, ladies, if you want to look good, really, if you want to understand that you are not just little dolls, because they are playing you like a puppets. And I will explain you why. I will explain you even how. I was explaining them right next to those producers they were trying to make a show. And I told them they're trying to make a show, and how they do it. It's so simple. Like I will explain you. Just imagine that the girl is going to an interview, like it's a bachelor, right? She's going to an interview, and the interviewer, right, asking her, okay, Elena, did you see that he was not looking at anyone except you? He's like, he had such a special moments with you. He was just staring at you sometimes. And she didn't see that, but she thinks that they saw. And she said, I actually did. I saw that. Yeah. And the interviewer, she's asking her like, oh, no, say it with your own words. And she's like, oh, I saw that he was not looking at anybody except me. He was just staring at me sometimes. We had, that special connection. She's actually starting to believe that that happened. And they asking another girl, oh, well, did you realize that he was like giving time to every girl except you? Did it make you angry? Like, she's like, actually, yeah, that made me angry. Like, I said, oh, no, say it with your own words, like the whole thing. And they're saying what producers told them, just because they're playing that very simple game with it. And I was explaining to the girls how it works and what is happening. And we can actually, ladies, I want you to look good. I want to pick one of you, but I want all of you to be happy and to be proud of, and to be happy with like what we have right now. Let's just, forget about them. And producers, of course, they didn't know what to do, because girls stopped believe them. They started to question every word, and it's not what they want at all. Like, so of course we were fighting constantly. And I don't know who won, honestly. Like, there was one guy. He was also the Bachelor in Russia, also very, very, very famous comedian. And he saw, well, Alex. I didn't pick anybody in the end. I have to say, in the end, I didn't pick a girl, because I realized that we're not going to be together. Why should I lie to? And like, let's try to build love. No, you cannot build. You can build the building. I don't know what you can build, but you cannot build love. It's either exist, either not. It's like let's build God, right? How you will build God? You either believe and it exists for you, either not, and it might be still existing. Like, but like it's just you cannot build some things. So I wasn't lying to the audience, to myself, and to the girls.